Built for builders, from beginners to pros, this is where great backyards begin. Welcome to the Ultimate Deck Podcast, your source for backyard building tips, product breakdowns, and pro advice from the front lines of the industry. Here are your hosts, Shane Chapman and Wade Laurent.
Well, hello everybody. Shane and Wade here, Ultimate Deck Podcast. It's now November. How do you feel?
Fine.
Okay.
You ever watch the Bill Burr skit?
Nope. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Yeah, I feel fine. I don't know if I shot a mule deer on the last day of Halloween, the last day of the season or not. It's hasn't quite ended yet.
Is that the plan
I don't
you have
remember.
for the rest of the day?
I want to sneak out. That's what I want to try. I don't know.
Okay.
It's like I shouldn't, because
Just a lot of work. You're just
once
going
you
to
shoot them,
get yourself a job.
super easy until you shoot something. Enormous amount of work right after that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Halloween candy?
Holy man, you need to put these on the prep sheet. You need
I
to
don't.
let me think about these things before.
You want to ask chat?
I should. Like growing up as a kid, I loved rockets.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good. I think nowadays, when I'm digging into the kids' candy baskets, I'm usually looking for a coffee crisp.
Yeah, I saw that. So,
Yeah.
I don't like coffee crisp, and so you took it and you ate it, and I was like, that's great, because like I would eat it because that would be the only chocolate bar that was there, but
So,
that's not the one I want.
There was somebody rolled a chair. I probably know who it was, but somebody rolled a chair up to the door here while we're recording podcasts and put some Halloween candy on the chair.
Yep.
And we were walking back in to record this episode. And I was like, well, I'm going to sneak in here a little bit. And I was going to take the Coffee Crisp and the Kit Kat,
Yeah.
which would have taken the two wafer type chocolate bars and would have left the Aero and whatever else is out there. And then I was like, well, that's not fair for me to take both of the wafer ones. I should leave one because clearly everybody likes these ones the best.
In the go forward plan,
So I left it for you,
Take
the
'em
Kit
all.
Kat. And now you're telling me that you don't vibe with that.
I don't like the wafer
What? That's crazy.
because I don't like Kit Kats either. Arrow, no problem.
We're going to
Score?
get along just fine.
Yeah, Mars bar all day long.
Oh, Mars is a good
Snicker
too.
bar,
Yeah.
done. Any chocolate bar.
Yeah, I prefer the wafer ones. I like the crunch.
Nope, not
I
me.
like the crunch.
Dries my mouth out.
Drink more water.
Ugh. You know who you're talking to?
I've got a coffee and a cherry Pepsi sitting in front of me. I wasn't worried about dry mouth. I had that
No
part
kidding.
taken care of.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Chocolate bars. Mini chocolate bars. Mars bar.
we're into November when this comes out. And last night I was at hockey and a guy asked me, I played with this goalie quite a bit, but I don't know much about him. So I was like, where do you work, by the way, Terry? So having a little conversation. He told me where he worked and he's like, what about you? And I was wearing an Ultimate Deck Shop shirt. I was like, he's like, oh, right. Yeah, sorry. I knew that. How was your year? I was like, well, it's turning out to be not bad, but like halfway through the year, it was looking not good. It was like everybody was really behind, but now we're having like a great October. And so I'm hoping this rolls into November and keeps going strong. But I've heard that from a few people in the industry saying that like everybody's having a pretty strong October after a slow start to the year.
Well, there was just a certain amount of stuff that needs to get built each year, right? Like you kind of lay your calendar out for the year and you're like, well, even if you're a home builder, you're like, I'm going to put up whatever. Maybe it's only 6, maybe it's 40, but whatever the number is, that's how many houses you were going to do that year. And you didn't start till mid-June because it was real bad.
Maybe the uncertainty at the start of the year that we all knew was there, the political and economic and everything else.
Absolutely.
Maybe people have started to settle in a little bit. Maybe it's just kind of like, they're like, okay, well, this is the new norm. So,
Yeah. Our prime minister was like elbows up and we knew he had our back and off we went.
Yeah, that worked out. I was listening to the news this
Currently
morning.
working out right now.
We're potentially avoiding the official term recession because September, final reports are not in, but it looks like the economy had a 0.1%
Oh,
growth.
yeah. Perfect. As soon as it's not 3 in a row.
It wasn't 3 in a row by 0.1%. They're like, well, it's enough to avoid using the official term of recession because it's only been 1 and 90% of a
So then
second quarter of recession.
So we can't say it until end of December now. October, November, December.
Right.
Well, hey, three more months of good living right now.
That might be playing into it as well. It's November, which means it's getting
Cold.
cold out.
It's going to snow.
We've seen snow a couple times now. Hasn't stuck around either time. We had a pretty good shot in the middle of October, like a decent little day that there's some coming down, kind of gone by the next day. And Halloween Day, not much, but a little sprinkle of snow through the air in the morning that also didn't stick around. But the temperatures are for sure dropping, and so we're going to talk about what to do about that if you're going to continue building decks in the winter. What do you need to know?
Likely a little contractor focused on this one as opposed to homeowner. Not many homeowners are doing decks in the winter. They certainly could.
We always talk about this, and we likely inflate it a bit, but I think there's also a lot of truth to it. That first snowfall is the end of DIY season, and it doesn't matter what happens after that. So we've had years before where it's like we'll get a little shot of snow in October just because you have one cold night or something, right? It gets below zero for a night, and it happens to rain that night, and it turns into snow. People wake up, snow, over. Now, any outdoor projects I had planned that I was maybe still like, I really need to get this done here, is now officially spring. There's
it's a mental,
off the honey-do list.
That's
a
mental
spring
shift,
thing now,
right? It's not actually.
It could get back.
Do it.
Yeah, it could get back to 20 above in November and have like a beautiful November, and you're still like, nope. That's a winter. That's a summer project now. That's a spring project. So it just turns off that tap. But for the contractors who are working with it, or the odd brave homeowner who decides to take a rip at it, when you're working with composite or PVC decking, there's some things to be aware of. Some people are like, well, can you do that in the winter? And it's like, well, you absolutely can. There's nothing saying you can't install this stuff in cold temperatures, but there's a couple nuances, just like there is when you install it in really hot temperatures, to be aware of. People are generally aware of the hot temperature thing because it's the common thing. Right. It's like, I know that it's probably going to like shrink and create gaps. And it's like, but what about in the winter? Well, it's just the opposite. So anyways, have a great week. We'll talk to you.
Show. Like, what else are you going to talk about?
Take whatever you do in the summer and do the opposite in the winter, and then you've got all your problems solved. No, anyway, we're going to talk a little bit about some nuances, some tips and tricks of that kind of stuff. So everybody is pretty aware that composite and PVC deck boards expand and contract with temperature swings. They're generally unstable. Now, there's a few boards in the market that have addressed that to some capacity. Your Decorators, Surestone or MBC products, like the mineral-based stuff, is pretty stable. Mm-hmm. Anything with the fiberglass layer, which seems to be a technology or what am I trying to say? Like a process or something that some manufacturers are getting on board with.
Yeah, they're layering in a sheet of fiberglass in the decking.
Seems to help with some stability in the board as well. So you're getting less expansion contraction on those as well.
Yep.
So those ones are great. You have some products like AZEC that has always said, like, go ahead, install it tight. Don't need to put an expansion gap. But there's also most products that do require gapping. And so if you're going to install it at a cold temperature, it's actually ideal. You've shrunk your board as much as it's going to shrink in its lifetime, probably, if you're installing them when it's really cold.
Yep.
But some of them are going to grow. And some, like AZEC, they say that's fine. It's okay if it tries to expand. It's not going to buckle or anything if it tries to expand and you've installed boards tight. It's fine. But many manufacturers will say, don't do that. It will buckle.
Yes.
You need to leave an expansion gap. That gap depends on the temperature and the product. So refer to the install manual.
And what you're talking about is lengthwise, because
Correct.
Composite and PVC is extremely stable widthwise. That 5.5 is unlikely to change at all.
Yeah.
But the lengthwise moves a bit.
Because it's just going to move a percentage, right?
Right. Wood is the other way around.
Yeah.
Wood is very stable lengthwise.
Right.
And not widthwise.
Yeah.
5.5 is 5.25 every time.
Yeah. So if you're doing it in the winter, that's the first thing. Make sure you pay attention to the install instructions as to the gapping requirements. Because it could be 5/16 of an inch they might want at the end of that board.
Yep.
And if you don't do it, you may end up finding that the boards will buckle in the summer when they expand again, or they start breaking fasteners or whatever. So you just have to make sure you're paying attention to that.
Yep.
The second part is cutting and just working with this stuff in general. So some products fare better than others in this, and it all comes down to the hardness of the cap or the rigidity of the cap or the plasticity of the cap material. So some products...
I was going to use the word dexterity.
Dexterity?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right one.
No? Because it means...
It's like your ability
how
to
does it bend or
feel
flex
within your fingertips, isn't it? Like, isn't that the...
I could be wrong on it. It wouldn't be the first
I
time.
never found the word I was actually looking for. I just threw out 3 other ones that were
Yeah, I could
somewhat
see that.
synonymous.
I was watching you find them.
Brittle, I think is what the word I was looking for. So how brittle the cap might be. So some products, I would say, like most of the composites, so like a Trex or a Fibron, the caps are fairly soft, fairly flexible,
Malleable.
They're not super brittle.
Right.
But when you get into some of the PVC products, especially, they can be a more brittle cap. Now there's pros and cons to that. Brittle caps can be more scratch resistant sometimes.
Yes,
they're just a harder plastic. But when they get cold, they're also more susceptible to chipping or cracking, or maybe not cracking, but chipping and chipping.
Just chipping.
Didn't need more than one word there.
Nope.
So they're more susceptible to that. And where that shows up is when you're cutting it typically. So if you're cutting it with a blade that's not super sharp, or there's some tensility in the board or some pressure in the board, like maybe you don't have it laying completely supported on both ends, and it's kind of like flexed a little bit while you're trying to cut it. It's like as soon as you get it weak enough, it'll just kind of break and snap because it's colder, so it's less flexible at that time. So you need to make sure you can deal with this a few different ways. Some guys will just make sure they're using a really sharp blade and just go at it easy, kind of score the cut and work their way through it and just let the saw do the work. Make sure you have that sharp blade. Some guys will tape the cut, helps to tape where you're going to cut to make sure it's not tearing out. You could store the boards inside. So if you have a garage to store them in and cut them in, great.
Cut them inside.
Keep the temperatures a little bit warmer, keep the boards warmer if you have the option of it.
Yep.
So it's not a big deal. Just need to pay a little bit more attention.
I think with that really hard cap, I think I would stay away from any, like, we're huge fans of track saws, but I would stay away from a track saw or a skill saw. Anything that cuts on the upstroke, I would stay away from. And so like miter saws work well because you can score it across, but then when you actually cut, you're cutting on the downstroke and you're pushing that cap lower. Anything where that saw blade is turning up, I just don't think it works, man. And just like it chips
it's riskier
every time.
for sure. Most track saws will have a scoring depth stop, a scoring setting or something where you can score first. And in the winter, if you're going to do it, absolutely use that. Yeah. Because I think a lot of guys skip that step. But
sorry, and this is only related to PVCs. I would cut like anything with a high, like HDP, high density polyethylene cap, anything that had a cap like that, I would cut. No problem.
Yeah. But
it's the PVC cap that you start to worry about.
Totally. The other thing to pay attention to is the driving of the screws. So if you're doing this in the summertime and it's PVC, no pre-drill required. Let the screw do the work. Just drive your composite deck screws, PVC deck screws through. The reverse threads will fine. It cuts its way through. It creates this hole. It drives. No problem.
Yep.
But as soon as you get that colder, more brittle cap, the screw, when it's driving in, it switches forces halfway through driving it. It's like it's trying to pull material up through the first half of the screw or 2/3 of the screw, and then it switches and tries to pull material down. And that transition seems to like weaken the hole that the screw has been going through. So it can kind of pull up and that kind of weakens the material, and then when it grabs it and pulls it back down, it can sometimes kind of break or weaken or crack or whiten the circle on it. And that happens more often in the winter than in the summer.
Yes.
The answer is just to pre-drill it. Make sure that you're giving the material less, or the screw less material to fight through and less forces on it. So pre-drill.
That's it.
They're
not complicated. There's just little wee tricks that'll save you a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Your stuff will look better.
And then when it comes to your clips, if you're using a clip that's plastic, lots of them, the best clips out there are using some sort of stainless steel. Like we're big fans of the Camo Edge/Camo Wedge system, and those ones have the little stainless steel gusset on it. That's what the screw is hitting when it's driven to its proper depth.
And that's what's holding the board too.
Yeah. And so that's fine. It's like the stainless steel doesn't care if it's cold out. But if you're using a clip that's all plastic with a metal screw and those things are frozen, overdriving those could crack the plastic in the clip potentially. So you just need to be a little bit more careful if you're using all plastic clips.
Yeah.
The other option is if you have a bucket of plastic clips, is just piss in the bucket and then
throw in the garbage.
It's fine. Just hurry up before that freezes.
Heater. Put them on a heater.
Yeah. And then there's just a general storage. So we've built decks in the winter before, and one of the biggest everything moves a little bit slower in the winter. This is just something you need to be okay with. You're wearing gloves, you're dressed up, you're moving a little bit slower, you're having to pre-drill things, you're having to cut a little slower. Everything just happens a little bit slower. But what can really slow things down is a pile of materials covered in snow and ice.
It's frozen.
Worst.
Yeah, and then you're trying to scrape it all off.
Right.
Ugh.
Taking your speed square out and suddenly it's become a windshield scraper thing, and you're trying to scrape
your
all the
hands
ice off
extra
your crap,
cold.
and your boards are all frozen together and everything. So one of the best tips is to make sure your stuff is stacked level and flat together, and then tarp it, cover it. Make sure it's not going to get covered in snow.
Yeah.
Because then, like, if you're building, especially in kind of the shoulder seasons where it's snowed, but it's still getting warm enough to melt in the day, and all of a sudden that stuff's melting and it's refreezing at night, and it's like you've turned your entire lift of decking into a block of ice.
So frustrating.
And it's just like, it's awful to work with. So just make sure you store them under a roof if you have the option, or in a garage. Perfect. If not, throw a tarp on it at the end of the night. Throw some stuff on top. Make sure the tarp doesn't blow away. But
yeah, even just 2 boards, throw the tarp on, pull 2 deck boards out, and lay them on top of the tarp.
Yeah,
it's okay that those 2 are like that. Set them out in the yard; they'll thaw out during the day, and
good
to go.
Totally. So that's kind of the only real things you have to worry too much about. The lumber, when at the framing stage, you're not worrying about too much. Like, again, cover the lumber because it will freeze together. It's got moisture in it. It can freeze together even worse than the deck boards can. But there's not much as far as workability with lumber. It's still going to cut just fine and still whatever. You don't have to worry about that. Nope, I'm going to save that for next episode. I was going to talk about something else, and I was like, nope, we have a related episode coming up. And
not now. You got things to
we'll
do.
talk about it then. We're going to record it next week, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the thing. And another nice thing to do is just to make sure you have a heater on hand. So we used to keep a heater in the trailer. This is kind of rolling into next episode a little bit, but throwing a heater in the trailer gives you somewhere warm to go, just to get a quick warm up if you ever need it.
Yeah.
The exhaust off your generator is always a nice little hot spot too that we would use to warm the hands up from time to time.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about that in the next episode, the tips about the actual, like, taking care of yourself when you're out there too, not just on your materials. But
yeah, I think the only thing that I would mention that we didn't cover here is that, and you probably can't mention this enough, but you need to chat with your homeowners and let them know that this is all going to take a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you decide to build in the wintertime, they will know that it will be slower, but at some point you'll be 2.5 weeks in and they'll be like, I would have thought that'd be done by now. And you're like, no, it's all slower. I don't start till 9 or 10 and I'm out of here at 4 and the stuff's all cold. It's just like, it's just slower.
Yeah.
And it's okay because you're not trying to get out there to barbecue and host friends and family anyway. So just make sure you talk to the homeowners in advance and be like, we're doing this. It's just going to take a while.
Yep, exactly. So that's it. That's it for some tips for working with material. Next week, tune in to get some tips about taking care of yourself when it's cold out there too. Till next week. Peace.